Hello there, my name is Anthony Barocas of YoloLiv, and today we are going to be talking about audio mixing. Specifically, audio mixing on the YoloBox Pro. There's different methodologies on the different devices. I'm going to specifically talk about the YoloBox Pro today. I'm going to use my overhead camera. You can see that I have my YoloBox Pro and I have an audio mixer. What I also have is I have a boom microphone here, which you can hear, and this goes directly into my camera, which comes in to my YoloBox Pro. I also have a lavalier mic, which if you look at the audio mixer, when I talk, the meters move. My lavalier microphone is coming wirelessly into the audio mixer, and that is coming into the line input of the YoloBox. What I'm going to do over here is I'm actually going to switch this to so that you can see what I'm doing, which is especially important when I go into the audio mixer, so that you can see what I'm doing over here. Right now you can see that my program is on, and then up here, right here, audio follow video is off. What that means is if you had different cameras, you could actually, it would automatically switch to follow whatever you selected. So different sources would play different video or different audio, and the YoloBox would switch to whatever audio source is also the video that you have selected at that time. So video one, or camera one, then camera one audio, camera two audio, camera three audio, which can be useful if you've got cameras in very different locations, like a sporting event or something like that. But if you're doing something where you're switching a lot of different things in one place, you want to be able to control the audio yourself. And that's where the built-in audio mixer, someday I'm going to get this right, the built-in audio mixer over here in the YoloBox really pays off. So right now the audio follow video is off. What we have right here next up is mic in, and you can see right over here there's a mic input and a line input. I'm coming in from the mixer over here via the line input, and then I have a separate mic input. Those are two different inputs, and in the mixer they are given, I'm trying to point, in the mixer they are given two different inputs over here. Next up is HDMI 1, HDMI 2, HDMI 3. Now you can't have three different HDMI inputs actually. I think it's limited to two different HDMI mixing. You also have your USB audio because you can have audio coming in via a USB capture. SD card video 1, like the video that I'm playing in the background actually doesn't have any audio, but if it did, I could be playing some ethereal kind of soft background music that's part of the video and looping automatically, but I don't have that. And then of course you've got SD video card 2 and your live stream audio. So there's a lot of capability, and these inputs only turn on when something is plugged in. So the reason you don't see the mic in active is because there's nothing plugged in. Like the line input right here, I have something plugged in, and so that way I'm able to actually adjust the levels here. But if I physically unplug it, you'll see it's now grayed out. So the YoloLiv is actively showing you where something is available, what something is connected and when something is not connected. And that's an important differentiation. And when I plug the line in, it automatically turned on. I'm going to turn it off. We'll get to that in a minute. So right now I'm coming in via the HDMI. On me, I have a wireless microphone. This is the AVX series. I'll show you the receiver, and anybody knows the AVX series. It has this little angled receiver to really make it obvious which model it is, and they do the same thing on their handhelds. They have this little bevel on it. And these are digital microphones, and they have a little bit of delay. So when I turn both the HDMI on and the line input on, you're actually going to hear a little bit of, like, not reverb, but kind of echo, because the line input, there is just a fraction of a delay through the AVX because it is digitally compressed in the transmitter and then uncompressed in the receiver. So that is one of the things that you'll notice when I turn them on. Also, I wanted to talk about setting your levels. I have in the transmitter itself there's a gain for the microphone. So that's your first level. In the transmitter itself, I can set how loud I want that audio to be, so if somebody's really talking really quietly, or if you're using it for a very quiet instrument or something, you can increase the gain before it's compressed and transmitted. Then on the receiver right here, I can click this. You can see there's 3 LEDs lit out of 4. There's a volume output on the receiver. That's another place where your levels get set. Then on the input of the mixer here, there is a gain setting. So I can increase the gain, and now you can see it's red, and if I bring it down, it's green. So there's another place where the level can be set, and then the individual channel level can be set, and then the output from the mixer can be set. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different places right now where the audio can be set, and that's 5 different places before we even get into the YoloBox. Then you've got the input in the YoloBox, that level set, and then your program audio level set. So 5, 6, 7. There's 7 different places where audio can be set, and this is why audio is so hard. Somebody says, my audio is clipping. It could be clipping, it could be distorting at any one of those 7 places. It could be happening in the YoloBox, it could be happening in the audio mixer, it could be happening right here at the transmitter. It's really hard to figure out where something is going wrong, and that's one of the key things with audio is understanding where your levels are set and where things could possibly go wrong, so that you always make sure that your levels are set good all the way through and you don't have a distorted signal. So we're going to go through this a little bit. Right now we're listening to the HDMI. This is the microphone up here. It's, I know what that level is. It goes into the camera, which has a level adjustment, and then it comes into the YoloBox, which has a level adjustment, and then program level. So there's 4 adjustments on that one. Let's switch to my line input. Now you're hearing me through the line input, and you can see that it kind of sounds the same. It's a little bit different environment sound, maybe not as roomy. And if I listen to it on my headphones, it's hard for me to talk with the slight echo. So I can't listen to the audio that I'm doing live. I could listen to it on the mixer, but every step adds a little bit of delay and it's hard. Now, I wanted to show you, like, if I have my audio coming into the mixer, let's go to this shot. Now we're actually listening to this audio. So if I turn it down like this, you can hear my audio go down. And if I bring it up, it'll go back up. So this is actually live. This is what you're listening to. If I take the gain and bring the gain up, so what's happening now is I'm distorting right here, but I'm compensating for it here by bringing this level down. So is the audio distorting on the YoloBox? No, it's being recorded on the YoloBox, but that's not where the distortion is. If I fix my audio levels right here, now it sounds a little bit better. Actually, I'm going to just double check to make sure that it does sound a little bit better. Hello, hello, hello. Sounds good to me. The other thing is your channel can come up too hot, and you can see now it's going into the red, possibly distorting in the mixer. Your output levels could be too hot, and then when they come in to the YoloBox, they can distort. So you've got a lot to manage in terms of making sure that your source audio is clean. Listen to your mixer through the headphone jacks. And then when it comes into your YoloBox, listen to it again. Because I can adjust my line input right here. I can bring it up. And then up here at the top of the screen, I have my program audio. So listening, and listening again is critical with audio. I have to stop listening because there's the echo. It is very important to understand the multiple steps that the audio goes through to get into the YoloBox. And even within the YoloBox, there's 2 more places to adjust the audio levels. And if you're mixing 2 different sources or 3 different sources in the YoloBox, all of this adds up. So you need to make sure that it's just not clipping, and make sure that not just looking at the little meter at the top of the screen that you can see right here, which is part of the YoloBox interface, but listening to the headphone jack of the YoloBox for it, and even recording a little bit, playing it back on a computer, and making sure that the recorded file is properly reflected to the audio levels here. Because if you are just dancing into the yellow, let's bring this up a little bit. If you're just dancing into the yellow here and you're getting some clipping, then you know you need to back it up a little bit and keep it down in the green and not go into the yellow. You need to know where your system is set. You know, as I've written for other magazines, and it's very important to test. Test again, you know, so that you know where the breaking point is with your gear. With the audio mixer, you can see in the YoloBox that I have the ability, nope, did it wrong again, over here, that I've got the line in and the HDMI. I can turn these both on now. And I'm going to put my headphones back in. You can hear that little bit of an echo that I talked about. But what I want to talk about now is the delay. The delay is there because if you are coming in with a line input that isn't already delayed because it's a digital system, it's going to be ahead. It's going to be very fast compared to an HDMI source, which might be slightly delayed compared to your analog input. You would want to push that back a frame, maybe 2 frames, which would be 30 milliseconds or 60 milliseconds. Right now, I have it at 0, and there's still a little bit of delay because of this, the way this wireless microphone works. Normally, if there's not a second source, there's no difference. And if you use a bunch of these microphones, they all match. So all your audio is in sync. It's not an issue. If this was the only microphone, you wouldn't notice it. But because I have 2 different microphones going 2 different paths, then you notice that there is a timing difference between the 2 sources. To solve that, pick one. The delay you can see here is I can adjust the level here. I can move that slider for the delay, but you don't hear anything different. You might see that my mouth doesn't quite match as well as it did before. I'm going to make a clicking sound, and I'm going to show you the difference between the HDMI, which is the room microphone, and the lavalier microphone, and you'll hear the delay change as I move the delay. So I'll click. So you can clearly hear what that delay does. It pushes that one source back in time. So when I make that clicking sound, instead of it happening here, it's happening here, or click, click, or click, click, further apart. And that delay actually works. So if you have something that you have some sort of sync issue, that audio delay is where you can adjust and fix it. It only works on the line in and the mic inputs because you want to keep your HDMI audio in sync with the picture. You don't want to push that around. Down here on USB audio and your SD card video, you might want to push that around a little bit, so there's another delay down there, and it goes up to 1,000 milliseconds, so that's a quite substantial delay. I won't get into the audio follow video because it's going to be hard to demonstrate as I switch around things for you to know which audio you're hearing or seeing. But I wanted to really cover the fact that your audio is complex. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 places, plus the microphone is 7 places where that audio can be too loud or too quiet. Like I've got it turned up all the way, but I still can't hear it. Why not? Well, because one of the other levels is not set to where it needs to be. And here is one last thing I will bring up. I am going to Now, you may hear a buzzing sound. What did I do to make that buzzing sound? Why does my YoloBox have a buzzing sound? Well, my YoloBox doesn't have a buzzing sound, but it's hearing a buzzing sound from this digital receiver. When this receiver, this digital processor, is near these inputs, or this output, or some positioning with regards to this mixer, that noise is transferred into the mixer, and then it's recorded. So that is a prime example of really paying attention to every stage in your audio setup, because you never know where things are going wrong. I mean, I didn't change any of the buttons, I didn't change any cables, I merely moved the rotation of the digital receiver. Now there's processing going on there, it's not an analog receiver, it's a digital receiver, so there's digital circuitry going on in there, and there's a pairing, so there's probably maybe some bi-directional communication between the receiver and the transmitter, and that noise, that RF noise from the receiver is being picked up by the mixer. I just want to show you that as an example that audio is hard, audio is a challenge, and you really have to be diligent to get good audio into your YoloBox so that you can make sure that you get good audio in your recordings and in your live streams. I hope these tips have been helpful to you to make sure that the streams that you do, the programs you make, can sound as good as you can make them. My name is Anthony Barocas for YoloLiv. Thanks for watching.